Hi there. Welcome to the replay of our Spring Awards Party presentation. The recording did not work out once again this year, mastering it and putting it online. And the section of the party last night where we actually awarded the raffle items. So you'll see that at the end. But anyways, so we'll jump into it here so everyone across the Midwest can be aware of what's going on with Midwest Masters and with Masters ski racing. So we'll jump right into it here. So agenda, quick season recap, annual meeting items, tentative schedule for next season. And again, it's tentative, so things may change, but it's probably 80–90% set right now. Then we'll talk about what pricing is going to look like for next year. No big changes there. And then go over the season awards real quick, and then we'll switch to the video for the jacket, so you can see the winners. Okay, so away we go. First of all, we always have to thank our sponsors. Sponsorship makes up, roughly, depending on the season, depending on our budget needs, but roughly between 40 and 60% of our revenue. We cannot do the ski racing thing without the help of these folks. So these 6 companies are our bib sponsors. For those of you who don't know, that's a 3-year commitment, and 4 of these shops have been a bib sponsor for many years. High Tempo, Pierce Skate and Ski, Joe's, and Huygards. New this year are Tonka Ski and Gear West. So thank you to all of these companies for being a support of our program. We do what we can to try to promote you guys. And for those of you out there who are racers, do what you can to patronize these guys. Buy products there. We know there's a lot of options out there, but there's nothing quite like getting the one-on-one input that you get from these folks at these shops. They know these products. They love what they do. They're going to give you insight that you're not going to get online. So, and if you stop by or buy online, purchase online, because many of these companies do have an online presence, and you can buy online. Let them know that you are affiliated with Midwest Masters. That goes a long way towards helping them feel comfortable about their sponsorship with us, and helping us maintain a connection with them. So, thank you, all of our sponsors. Huge help. Advanced Medical Home Care is our gate panel sponsor. That's a different level of sponsorship, but if you've been at our races, you've seen that on our panels we have this logo, the Advanced Medical Home Care logo. This is Mike Ogier's company. Mike has been a long-time racer with Midwest Masters. Still races, still sets courses from time to time. Mike's been a huge supporter, and thank you, Mike. And then we have all of our gold and silver sponsors. We got a bunch of new ones this year. HWK is a company owned in part by Kevin Hochtel, who's a Masters racer. He went to school in the Midwest at St. Olaf, was a great Nordic skier, is also a great alpine skier. And he goes to a lot of Masters events, and a great guy. We thank him for his sponsorship. HWK Wax is pretty awesome. A lot of Masters racers use it. Remax Realty, Pat Hiller and Donna Hiller. Pat's a longtime Masters racer as well. If you're looking to buy or sell a home, look up Pat Hiller and let him know you're looking, and he can help you out. He's got a lot of experience. Thanks, Pat, for sponsoring us. We'll go over to Mount Bora, or now it's Bora Teamwear. Again, a Midwest-based company based in Wisconsin. They do a lot of sports ski racing. Our custom suits are actually designed by Bora. They make some great products. A lot of people are in Bora suits. And we thank them for helping us with our design. Forward Ski System is a new sponsor this year. They sell a really cool training device that basically helps you stay forward on your skis, obviously, and it works really well. I actually purchased one. This is Ryan Fuller. I'm doing all the talking here now, board member with Midwest Masters. But I actually bought one several years ago, and they do work really well. I use it early in the season if I can to try to get me back in a balanced position. And it's pretty cool how it works. It's got sensors, and then you have headphones that you wear. It gives you feedback on whether you're forward on your ski. And as you know, as a racer, that's pretty important. So, especially early in the season. Renaissance Charitable Foundation, that's a charitable organization through which one of our racers is associated. And this racer has set up a donation from Renaissance to us, and this donation specifically covers our championship awards. So if you've won your age class and gotten an custom embroidered jacket, Renaissance is the sponsor to thank for that, and the ski racer who will remain nameless right now. But thank you, Renaissance, for your sponsorship. It's huge. Bottom row there on the far left, Ski Scraper Sharpener. These are super cool products. A lot of ski racers have them. If you don't have one and you tune your skis a lot, you should get one because they're pretty cool. Obviously, they sharpen your scrapers, which can be time-consuming at the beginning of the season. You have one of these, you've always got a sharp, flat edge on your scrapers. So super cool. SkiScraperSharpener.com. They've been sponsoring us a few years now and providing a couple of these units that we can raffle off. Hurtis Heating and Air. Jim Hurtis, who's a skier in the Wausau area, has been a great supporter of our program and sponsoring the Granite Peak race every year. Thank you for your support, Jim. No Sweat provides some product. No Sweat is owned in part by a former ski racer. We're hoping to get them out again. But No Sweat provides some really cool products that are quite innovative, but they help alleviate any perspiration issues you may be having. Obviously, there should be a fit with ski racing there somewhere, but that product isn't out yet. But if you're active all summer long, you should look into their products because there's some cool stuff. St. Paul Corrugating is a company in St. Paul, obviously owned by Chip Burhans, who's been a long-time racer and supporter of Masters. Thank you, Chip, for your support. Dominator Wax, they are a relatively new sponsor. Thank you guys for what you've been giving us. We raffle off your products too. You got some great overlays that are pretty fast. I like the momentum. The cold stuff is pretty good. Fast Wax has been a sponsor for a number of years. They are also a Midwest company, and thank you to them for providing so much support. A lot of people are racing on Fast Wax as well. So again, those are all our sponsors. If you are in the shops, please say hi and let them know you're a Masters racer and you thank them. Also, Race Crew. We can't do it without Race Crew, and we thought this year we'd put some pictures in so people can actually see who these folks are. And here's a list, and this is pretty much everyone who helped on Race Crew this year. We have people filtering in and out, but there's a lot of people who are pretty consistent. Ben is one of those. Ben's been a little bit busy lately because he just got married, bought a house, but Ben's still there in the periphery helping out. So thanks, Ben. And Brett, your wisdom has helped us to no end. Thank you for your help on Race Crew. Bridget, as a board member too. Bridget's been a huge part of our Race Crew, helping with registration and all the race paperwork, etc., and running races. She's a pretty good leader on the hill, and she's actually departing. She's moved out to Park City. It's a big loss, but she's moving on to bigger and better things now that she's engaged. Congratulations, Bridget, and thanks again. Charlie. Whoops, went too far. Charlie Fox, Bridget's father. Charlie's been a great help to the organization over the last several years in many ways. Sponsorship, I'll get to that, but Charlie also helps out on Race Crew and helps out with award ceremonies, etc. Thanks, Charlie. Chris Gideson, fast racer, awesome guy on Race Crew. It's always good to have him on the hill because you know things are going to get taken care of He'll take on any challenge. He does a lot with timing. Thanks, Chris, for your help. Dwight, board member, fellow board member, helps out in lots of different ways, and definitely helps out on race crew. And Dwight was in charge of the Sierra Cup races this year. Jerry, thanks for your help. I don't know who that is in the background. I hope you're enjoying that margarita. But it's great to have you on race crew too. Greg, much like Chris, Greg's a great help on race crew. Greg is one of the original board members of Midwest Masters and still is around. He's a little busy with his kids nowadays, but he's always willing to help on race crew and one of our officials. A great comfort to have him on the hill. Janine Miakotna. Janine has been a longtime Masters racer, St. Olaf alum, fast racer, and awesome with registration and helping out on the hill. Thanks, Janine, for all your help. Again, all you people are irreplaceable. Janine, you're definitely the case. My lovely wife, Katie, helps out with registration a lot. She doesn't really help out on the hill, but she's a huge help with registration and keeping me sane, too. So thanks, Katie. Lee Eddy, the man, the myth, the legend. Those of you in Chicago know and love Lee. Lee's been a huge help and is always willing to be on the hill, helping out, setting, carrying gates, tearing down gates, slipping the course, and just generally taking care of things. I don't know where ski racing would be in the Midwest for adults without Lee. So thanks, Lee, for everything. Mike O'Connor, another fellow board member and official, and a high school coach, and a level 1 or 200 USSA coach, US Ski and Snowboard coach. Mike also helps run races with Midwest Masters. So Mike, thanks for all your effort in that. We're going to need you more next year with the loss of Bridget. So Randy. Randy's often seen with a cocktail of some sort nearby. Definitely not on the race hill. But Randy has been a long time race crew member and extremely reliable and always towing the trailer, helping out on the hill, lugging gates around, and never complains. And Randy's a huge help, and Midwest Masters wouldn't be the same without Randy. There's me, mini-me. So I'm on race crew too. And there's Todd. Todd is on path to be a TD, perhaps one of our first TDs, along with myself. Hopefully next year we can reach that goal. But Todd enjoys officiating. He's one of our primary officials and helps out on race crew and helps out setting. So thanks, Todd, for all your help. Also a former board member. So thank you, everyone on race crew. Can't do it without you. And then, of course, our board members this season, Mike O'Connor, Dwight Livingston, Bridget Fox, and myself, Ryan Fuller. We were all board members, official voting board members. But we always have a lot of support, as we usually do, with people in various ways. Charlie Fox gets a notable mention here. He did a fantastic job helping Midwest Masters attain our highest level of sponsorship in our 20-year history. So Charlie's a fantastic person in that regard. He's a former account exec, so he knows how this is done, and he makes it look easy. But he's been great at helping build relationships for us this year. A huge help. Andrea Woyan, who's been instrumental in helping us think outside the box with a lot of new ideas. She's kind of a breath of fresh air. She just kind of has this stuff flowing through her, and when we talk to her, she just comes up with all these great ideas. So it's great to have Andrea helping out. And also Lee Eddy, as I mentioned earlier. Lee and I talk on a regular basis throughout the season, and I think we keep each other sane to a large degree, but we come up with solutions to problems quite often. So couldn't do it without Lee. And then, of course, for all of you who race with Midwest Masters, thank you for coming out. We do this for you. We do it because we love it, and we know you love it. So your enthusiasm keeps those of us who are working on the program energized. So thanks for coming out and having as much fun as you do. So some quick comments on what Midwest Masters is. For those of you who may not be as familiar with us, we are a fully licensed U.S. Ski and Snowboard Alpine Masters Club. We have been since 1999, and since 2006 we've been a licensed NASTAR club too. So what that basically means is we are certified to run official U.S. Ski and Snowboard Alpine Masters sanctioned events. We are 100% volunteer. We're a 501c3 not-for-profit organization. And we're made up of essentially 6 board members and advisors, the names you saw earlier, and race crew, which is, give or take, roughly about 15 people a year. So who is Midwest Masters specifically? It's these 20-ish people. That's the population that makes up Midwest Masters in terms of who runs the organization. And our mission is basically to make your experience better as an adult alpine ski racer in the Midwest. That is, if you read our mission statement, go to our website, you'll see that on the About Us page. That's why we were founded, and that's our goal. So we don't specifically just run races. We do lots of different things, from running camps to providing education, helping other organizations run their events and be successful with the way they run their events, providing timing help and results help, and even bringing radar guns. We do that too. So who are the racers that race with us? Well, there's no single group that is a Midwest Master that are Midwest Masters racers. With very few exceptions, all people who race in a Midwest Masters race are already a member of some other team or league that exists in the Midwest. So what is the Midwest? By definition, we follow U.S. Ski and Snowboard's guidelines. Here you can see Rocky Central in the middle. That breaks down to, obviously, Rocky and Central. And then within the Central Division, there's 4 regions. Region 3 and 4 we kind of group together because there's not really a whole lot of people in Region 4. A lot of those people actually associate more with the East because they race in Pennsylvania and New York more often. Region 3 and 4 is mostly the Boyne and Detroit area. But so when you hear us refer to Region 1, Region 2, and 3 and 4, these are the rough geographies that those represent. And there are teams or leagues, grassroots leagues, all over the Midwest. And this is just a sampling of them, some of the more common ones. There are certainly a lot more than this. Some are larger, some are smaller. Ski Challenge, for instance, is probably the largest, as far as we can tell. As far as I've been able to tell, it is the single largest adult ski racing organization in the country. The next biggest one I've been able to find is the Wachusett League out in New England, which has maybe 600 or 700 members. It's pretty big. That's a very big league too. And there's a lot of leagues, I think roughly that size or a little smaller out east. And there's size clubs that may compare to that in the West too. I haven't really found any, but Ski Challenge is huge. But CMSC, the Granite Peak Ski Team, and MRL, Midwest Race League, the Tottery Club down in Chicago, Metropolitan Milwaukee Ski Council in Milwaukee, obviously, and even way up north in Thunder Bay. The folks up there race. They come down and race with us once in a while. So there are groups all over the Midwest, and these are the people. The people from these grassroots leagues or teams really make up Midwest Masters racers. Again, with very few exceptions, I can't even think of anyone off the top of my head. Pretty much anyone who races in a Midwest Masters race is already a member of one of these leagues first. That's their home league or their primary team. So in 2019, this upcoming season, we're going to do more with this team concept because we want to create more family. So we're going to introduce a new team competition at our championship events, the Region 1 Championship in Spirit Mountain at the end of the year, and the Region 2 Championships at Granite Peak in February. So we're going to try to create more family by having a sub-competition that will try to promote more involvement from each of the teams. So we'll see how that goes, but we want you to be able to bring your team members with you and have a presence with your league at the races that we host and run for you guys. So a quick season recap from this past season, really quick. Budget. So again, this presentation, this meeting that we have every spring also acts as our annual meeting. So we technically have to go over the budget and actually vote on board members and such. We're not quite that formal, but still we feel we should go over that with everyone and make it known where we're at. Our budget is, roughly, I think it was $59,000 this year. It varies. It can vary quite a bit. That's relative. That's probably higher than it's ever been. We had more expenses this year, but this year was roughly a break-even year. I think we're going to end up being maybe down $1,000 or so. Reserves are still below where they need to be. We've had 2 very poor seasons with a lot of race cancellations, which hurt our revenue. So we've got right now, I think, about $9,000 in the bank. We would like to have between 10 and 15. That's where we'd like to be at the end of every season. So we're not there yet. We're hoping to catch up. If we have another couple of good seasons, we should be fine. Personal account balances for those who have raced with us. If you have an outstanding account balance, positive or negative, we will be contacting you in the coming weeks to get that resolved either way. So our treasurer, Mike, will be reaching out to you at some point. Membership. Full U.S. Ski and Snowboard Alpine Masters memberships for the Central Division were down, but participation overall is about the same year over year. And the difference between full memberships and participation, basically the gap is short-term memberships. We, again, had a lot of those this year. We also ran some races that weren't sanctioned, so memberships didn't necessarily apply this year. But overall, our participation is about the same as last year. And last year we saw a big increase, so not a bad thing. Nationally, Masters membership is up about 5%. And that's from numbers actually, I believe, at the end of February or early March. And with the late snow that we've had nationwide, we might see those numbers actually go up a little bit, which would be good to see. So, for those of you who don't know, we sent out a survey. We try to send out a survey right at the tail end of the year and go over some of those highlights at the awards party. And here are some quick highlights that we read from reading your responses. Time to travel continues to be the biggest hurdle for participation. That has been really a change over the last 10 to 15 years. We used to have, our biggest race used to be up at Marquette in Michigan every year, and we'd have 60, 70 racers up there. We'd have a lot of guys driving overnight from Thunder Bay around the lake to make it to that race. And it was a big race. But for some reason, behaviors have changed, and people just don't want to drive that far anymore. We have tried, and I know other organizations have tried to hold races there, and people just don't want to make the drive. So behaviors have changed, and it's becoming, or has been, a challenge for us for sure. So finding hills that both offer great terrain and are within kind of that 5-hour max travel time, which would allow people to at worst take a half day off of work on Friday to be able to make a weekend of racing and get back late at night on Sunday. It's really hard to do. But we're doing our best. Granite Peak seems to be a great venue. We've gotten great participation there. Spirit Mountain is a great venue. We hope to maybe find other sweet spots that we can have races at that also offer the terrain that we really seek to provide a great, challenging, quality race event. So we're doing our best. People feel that pricing for our racing is fair, although general travel costs and lift tickets are a concern. Those costs always seem to go up. I'm sure everybody would agree lift ticket prices are getting nuts nowadays. So one thing that we didn't do last season was really try to negotiate lift ticket discounts. So we're gonna try to do that this year and work harder on that and try to keep your costs down. We're definitely sensitive to that. We want you to come out and race. We try to offset those as much as we can by keeping the cost of our racing as inexpensive as possible. We realize, though, the full package, though, comes into play with taking time off of work too. So we try to keep our events friendly in that regard as much as possible. But we'll work harder on lift ticket discounts specifically because we think we can make progress there next year. People seem to feel there's a good balance of slalom and GS, but there were still comments about a desire for more slalom. We haven't gotten that comment in a while, but I think there's been our slalom series that we used to run, we haven't had for a number of years now, and I think that's starting to get people hungry for more slalom. So we're going to try to bring back some semblance of a slalom series this season. So we'll see what happens more on that when we get to the schedule. What else? Our Fast Times newsletters are still the preferred method of communication, so we do spend a lot of time on those. They're actually a lot of work to put together. We hope you enjoy them. We try to put interesting content in there as well. So we're going to keep doing those. We do, I think, 8 or 9 a year, and we plan the content for each of those in the summer and try to time it with our major events. We also have weekly updates that we do too that hopefully you guys find informative. We get positive comments on those too. Respondents want more races and training on the schedule. Honestly, right now, with the amount of help that we have, we're at capacity with the number of things we can put on the calendar. So what you're going to see for our schedule this year is already more than we can comfortably take on. So we're going to be stretching a bit again this year. We wish we could do more. We would need more help from more of you to be able to make that happen. But again, we have to be careful because we want to make sure that we provide the right amount of events in the right locations so that all the grassroots leagues, people can stay focused on those leagues, those teams. That should be everyone's primary focus. And then the Masters events, the Midwest Masters events are there to kind of be the icing on the cake. So we don't want to have too much on the schedule. But that being said, we're going to have 46 events this year across all of our racing and training. There are also several comments on working to make the races move along more quickly. We did have some timing issues this year. It can always be a challenge. Ski racing is what it is. The weather can be a challenge too. We didn't have too many problems there this year, but we will work on this and be always vigilant about moving things along. We appreciate and understand your desire for that. There's also some comments again about having ability classes and moving away or augmenting age classes with ability classes. This is something we can definitely do. We've had the ability to score this way for a good amount of time. We actually have a scoring system in our database that calculates penalties and scores people by event, regardless of their age or gender. It's very similar. It actually mimics how the U.S. Ski and Snowboard, the point system works there. So it works pretty well. It actually is the methodology behind our seeding, our seed list that we post every few weeks during the season. So that can be levered along with NASTAR handicaps, but we would also need cooperation from all the other teams in the Midwest because undoubtedly we would need some subjective input from the people who help organize and run those teams to put kind of a Midwest level seed list together. But it could be done. So maybe there will be more discussion on this in the coming season or two, and we could make that happen. But it would require a lot more input. Some quick annual meeting items. Our board members for last year again, myself, Mike O'Connor, Dwight, Bridget is departing. Thank you, Bridget, for your years of service. Our advisors and support for this coming year, or this past year, excuse me, were Charlie again for sponsorship, Andrea for concepts. Ben Hallen also helped out on the periphery with sponsorships and some back office stuff. Janie Giuliani is our Region 3 and 4 liaison. She lives in the Boyne area, and I speak to her a lot throughout the season, and also we're a little short on board members, and again, I was talking about we're kind of at the limit for what we can do. Here are some things for which we could really use help, and we're going to actually enumerate these more in the final newsletter for this year. If you have the desire, the time, and the ability to do these things, please let us know because we would love to have your help, and we'll try to keep it so that it's just segmented to a specific thing so it's not too much, right? So here they are, social chairmen, getting hotel blocks set up, conference rooms set up, coordinating awards parties, negotiating all the logistics for the social activities that we have is a gap. With losing Bridget, she typically handled this. That's kind of a gap for us now. Maintenance of the trailer and all club equipment. This is a fair amount of work, especially during the season. We need to make sure all the batteries are charged for the radios and the drills, and everything's in working order. Doing gate repair as the season progresses and keeping the trailer organized it's a little bit of work. It's not too much, but someone would need a place to keep the trailer, a place that's accessible by anyone who needs to come pick it up and bring it to one of our events. And also, you're going to need the ability to a workspace to work on gates, etc., so it can stay organized. Social media support. This is actually a much bigger thing than it was 10 years ago. Obviously, who knew what social media was 10 years ago? But this is huge for us in terms of marketing. Our newsletter content, Facebook posts, posting photos and video, and coordinating with our sponsors on getting their content out there. This is a lot of work. It's probably one of the single, outside of running races and organizing races, this is probably the single biggest unit of work. And there are people out there who are experts in this and who know a lot about this stuff. So if you are one of those and you have time and would be willing to help, we would love to hear from you. And kind of a separate thing, marketing perspective, we have a lot of video and photos from the past few seasons, some professionally done, that we were planning to put into a commercial style promotional video for Midwest Masters. And we just haven't been able to complete that. So if you have those talents and can drive this start to finish, like having the vision for what that production would be, it really should be a production. Getting music in there, interviewing people and getting some sound bites from people, and editing the whole thing would be fantastic. We would love help with that. Technology, we need to migrate our technology to the cloud so it can be used on any device, and that's specifically our timing system that's on our Midwest Masters machine. If that machine disappeared or were hit by a bus, we'd be okay, but it would be very difficult for us to run a race. We'd have to kind of throw things together. But having that system in the cloud would be a huge help, because then we could use any machine anywhere, not just the one that we have. And then race result paperwork and processing is always a bit of work. Actually, after every race, depending on the size of the race and depending on how registration ran and depending on how much of the pre-work we did for all of our officials' paperwork, this can be anywhere from a few hours to a day of work to clean up and get submitted to USSA. We have to submit XML files with split-second timing. We have to get TDTR reports that have things as detailed as the serial numbers on the timing equipment that was used, etc. Those are probably extreme examples, but just taking care of all the signatures and the paperwork that maybe the venue requires too, and making sure they have that. So help with that is also needed too. So again, we're going to enumerate this stuff in our next newsletter. If you are willing and able to help, we would love to hear from you. So let us know. So tentative schedule. Okay, so there's lots on the schedule next year, 46 total events. That's 30 races and 16 training sessions. Plus, we're going to have the NASTAR Pacesetter Trials again. We're probably going to travel out there depending on where it is and when it is. The Fall Copper Camp, that's been a great tradition. We're going to do that again. Plus the co-op race with Rocky Mountain Division, the Ski Cooper Shintuck Showdown, we call it now. It's because we've got a slalom race and some speed events during that 5-day event. And then, of course, Masters Nationals. So, Pacesetter Trials. So, 5 of us went out last year. You can see in the fuzzy picture in the lower left, that's Brian, left to right, Brian Feltz. That's me in the back. Tim Cleary in the red, Tim Schneider, and John Gleason. So we all went out and helped set the courses. So we did set the courses for the Pacesetter Trials and got to meet a lot of the U.S. ski team members and got in some early season skiing. It'll be sometime in November again. Last year I think it was the 17th, which I think was a Friday. It's probably going to be about that time again. Hopefully it's a Saturday this year. We'll see. Copper Mountain on Copperopolis. It was run the last couple of seasons. It's been run on the lower right section of Copperopolis. If you're familiar with the hill, it's a good little hill. It works great for NASTAR. You get to meet some of the US Ski team members and alumni. Not all of them. Some of them are kind of in and out, but there's a lot of alumni there that like to hang out, and they're cool to spend some time with. So, but there is limited space, so we can only bring 5, 6 people to that. So if we do it again and we send out word and you're interested, let me know right away. This is a good bucket list item. So let us know if we intend to do this again next year, which we hope we do. The Copper Camp. This year, again, it will be Sunday, November 25th through Wednesday, November 28th. That's 4 days. It's the 4 days following the Thanksgiving Thursday. GS, slalom, slaloms. That's 2 days of GS, 2 days of slalom. 2.5-hour sessions of training each day. For those of you that have been to our Copper Camp, that is plenty of training time on a great hill that always has awesome conditions. For those of you who don't know, a lot of the national teams, well, pretty much all of the national teams are out at Copper Mountain sometime in the fall. And because of that, there's a lot of pressure on Copper Mountain to have fantastic conditions and good safety and good accommodations and everything. So it's a fantastic early season training venue. It's also super economical. We're going to have Matt Fox as coach again. You can see him on the right picture in red. He's a Masters racer, a longtime coach. He's coached with Team Summit and lots of other programs. I don't know all of them. He's actually also a Midwest native. He's from Wisconsin. He's born in Madison. Lives out in Dillon now. But great guy, great coach. If you haven't been out to our Copper Camp, you should think about it. And again, it's very economical. Tickets out to Denver that time of year from the Midwest are really cheap. Lodging is super cheap. You can stay, you can walk to the lifts and get a place for less than $100 a night if you do it right, and get some friends to go with you. Buck Hill training. So we're going to do that again. We're going to have December training nights, Mondays and Wednesdays again, as many sessions as conditions will allow. We're going to try to add coaching this year. We'll see how that works. Also, Thursday night slalom training will happen again. Probably starting January 3rd on Thursday nights, roughly 10 weeks. It usually goes until Masters Nationals. And the cost is going to be about last year was $125. We'll see what that is this year. That's paid directly to Buck Hill. The Afton Alps Sporter Battle will be, and again, that's our Region 1 versus Region 2 competition. You can see the trophy down there. That's going to be at Afton Alps, January 4th through 6th. And again, we're going to do training on Friday, 2 GS on Saturday, and 2 slalom on Sunday. And Friday will be all-day gate training. It will actually be 2 separate sessions of GS and slalom combined training. And you can see the hill there on the right. It's about, I think it's about a 90-meter hill. So there's a few gates above the pitch there. But that's our race hill if you haven't been to Afton. In mid-January, again, it's over MLK weekend. We're doing the Shintuck Showdown again. This is a co-op race with Rocky Mountain. Rocky Mountain actually hosts and runs this event. We partner with them. Last year we provided some officials and course setting. We're working to try to partner with them on this event. We've been doing it for a number of years now. It's a ton of fun. If you have never skied a speed event and would like to try it, this is definitely the place to go. It is by far the most novice-friendly speed track on the Masters circuit. It's a great place to start. I remember my first run down it. I did it in sections, meaning I stopped halfway down, and I was like, why did I stop? So it's fun. There's a lot of people who have been newbies who have gone to it over the last several years, and more have come every year. So again, it's in mid-January. It'll start on Wednesday, January 16th, and run through Sunday, January 20th. January 21st, that Monday, is MLK. There will be probably a Town Series race that Monday. There was last year. I think it was at Beaver Creek. Lodging and transport will be subsidized by Midwest Masters, so we make it economical. It's going to be 2 downhill camps, one on Wednesday, the 16th, and another one on the 17th. That first one on the 16th will be geared specifically for people who have never skied in speed events. And we have Doug Briggs, who's a Frisco, he lives in Frisco, and he races a ton with Masters and is a former U.S. ski team member, a downhiller. Super awesome guy, very helpful. He will show you the ropes with that hill. But there's a lot of mileage you can get out of this very long weekend with the 2 camps, 2 downhill training runs, 2 downhill races, a Super G, and a slalom. So it's great value. And then again, the Town Series race on the 21st. We're assuming that's going to happen. It has the last few years, so that's a great way to finish off the weekend if you wanted to stay. Now, that's not a Masters race, but it's still pretty cool to race in a Town Series race. Also, 1 downhill and 1 Super G count towards the Speed Series. For those of you who are familiar with that, I'll talk about that a little bit later on. Region 2 Championships, again at Granite Peak, February 8th through 10th, same weekend. 2 Super Gs. They're not true sanctioned Super Gs, but they are fast GS races, and then 2 GS and 2 slaloms. And we're going to do the team competition, so bring your league. So we're going to be marketing this heavily to all of you guys out there who are in the leagues throughout the Midwest, and we're hoping that you can find a way to bring your friends from your league, and we can all have fun as a family together at this event. The Masters National Downhill, it's separate from Masters Nationals because Nationals is at a venue that doesn't have a downhill. So it's separate again. We're going to be doing it at Ski Cooper. So if you go out during MLK, that's a great way to warm up for this event. So it's February 28th through March 3rd. There will be a downhill camp again, 2 downhill training runs, 2 downhills, and 2 Super Gs. The first downhill will be the Masters National Downhill. And the other downhill and one of the Super Gs will also count towards the Speed Series. So again, a great event to attend and very easy to get to from the Midwest for sure. The Region 1 Championships will be early March, well, March 9th and 10th, I suppose that's the middle of March. 2 GS and 2 slaloms, 2 GS on Saturday, 2 slalom on Sunday, as we traditionally do. This is a fantastic hill. Me personally, this is one of my favorite slalom hills in all of the Midwest. You can see on the right the photo looking down. It never does it justice in a photo, but it's a really fun slalom hill. It's a long one. It's 50-some seconds. We go all the way down to the bottom. We don't go all the way down to the fist finish, which you actually have to hike out of, but we go down all the way down to the chair. So it's a really fun slalom and a great way to end the season. And also we're going to do the team competition here too. So you can see the crew here from last year, a good number of them. Masters Nationals this year will be in Sun Valley, Idaho, March 18th through 23rd. That date isn't totally final, but that's probably what it's going to be. You see these photos here. These are actually from the last time we were in Sun Valley for Nationals in 2015. And I just heard that the building behind us in that photo below actually burnt down. So that's sad, but I guess it'll probably be built back up by the time we get there. But there will be an Alpine combined, which is one Super G run and 1 slalom run on the same day, a Super G, a GS, and a slalom. That will comprise Masters Nationals this this coming season, next year technically. The Speed Series. For those of you who aren't familiar with what the Speed Series is, this is a Masters series, obviously, of just speed events, Super G and downhill. It's a select number of downhill and Super G races all over the country. East Coast, obviously none in the Central Division, but Far West, Rocky Mountain, Northern, Intermountain, etc. So it's usually between 12 and 20 races, depending on how we schedule it. And you can win these cool belt buckles that you see here. They're pretty cool. They're pretty sought after. The first 3 positions in every age group gets a belt buckle. And it's not hard to qualify. You only have to, well, first of all, 1 downhill and 1 Super G of the Shinnetuck Showdown counts, so just a reminder there. But you can qualify with as little as 3 races. Now that might change for next year. This past season it was only 3 race qualifications. So it's not hard to qualify for those. If you went to the Shinnetuck Showdown and the National Downhill, that's 4 races right there. So you can qualify with just those 2 events. So there's a lot of other races on some great tracks all over the country. So if you're a speed freak and want to try it out, ask us about this, and we can point you in the direction of where there's more information on the Speed Series. Sierra Cup. So we're putting together a new proposal for this year that Buck Hill is currently evaluating. So this is definitely not set in stone, but we're sharing it with you just so you're aware of where we're at with it. It'll be a 7-week GS and slalom series. The slalom portion will be held on Sunday nights during the traditional Ski Challenge season, meaning Ski Challenge starts at Buck Hill on, I believe, January 4th. That's a Friday. So the first night of this Sierra Cup series would be Sunday the 6th. And that Sunday night would be the slalom portion of the series. The GS portion would be a selected Ski Challenge league during the week. So we would have everyone sign up for that Ski Challenge league and race on that selected night. And then that result, you'd be scored with Ski Challenge too, but that result would also be scored as part of the Sierra Cup. To compete for the Sierra Cup, you must race both slalom and GS. You won't have to compete in every single race. That's too much to ask. That's a lot of races. However, you will have to finish or start a certain number of them. And then the finals will be our traditional Sierra Cup week, which is February 25th through 28th, those evenings, Monday through Wednesday or Thursday. So depending on any reschedules that are required for Ski Challenge, we will try to run 1, 2, or 3 races that week, whatever we can fit in, whatever makes sense, as our finals, and we will count those as double, or they'll be more important. So just to kind of make that a special week, and we're going to try to actually get the Whittier Room at Buck Hill to do the awards at the tail end of that too. So that's our proposal for the Sierra Cup next year. We will keep you posted on what happens with that. We're hoping something will happen. At the bare minimum, we're hoping maybe we'll get a slalom series on Sunday night. So we'll see. Pricing changes. So there's some subtle changes with how we're doing pricing. No, it's not a major change. We won't be charging separately for daily licenses, just to kind of keep that perceived complexity out of the picture for people who are new to the program. We get a lot of people who show up on race day and haven't raced with Masters, and it's really hard for them to understand how that all works. So we're trying to make it as simple as possible. So we're going to change the race fees so that they go up to $25 a race. That doesn't actually mean that the price for anyone is going up. We're just trying to simplify the structure. So our discounting that we've always done will still apply. It's just going to apply in a slightly different manner. You'll get $10 off if you have a valid U.S. ski and snowboard license of any kind. So if you went and bought a short-term license online for that upcoming weekend, you get $10 off that $25. So you're back to the typical $15 that we've been doing for the last several years. And then the other discounts apply too. However, they're both $10 off. So you'll get $10 off if you're age class 2 or younger, so basically under age 35. And then $10 off if you're new to the program. And that'll be based on our returning racer list. So if you've never raced with us, you're going to get $10 off too. So it's entirely possible that you could race for $0 for free every day. If you went and got a master's license and were new to the program and were in age class 2 or younger, you'd race for free. So those will apply in the same fashion. So the net of this is the pricing hasn't really, it certainly hasn't gone up. If anything, it's probably going down, but we're trying to simplify it. And those discounts may stack, like I was saying. So you can't go negative, so we're not going to pay you to race. It will go down to 0. So some other things. So training will be $15 per session this year. That'll be the Buck Hill December training sessions, and also the Friday Afton Camp with those 2 sessions there. So that was actually more expensive than that last year, and the buck training sessions were $10. So we're just going to make everything $15, and it evens out. The Thursday slalom training is anticipated to be $125. Again, that's through Buck Hill. So I don't know how we're going to be helping to facilitate payments for that. We may be helping with that in our system. I don't know. But that's anticipated to be happening again. If you want some slalom training, this is by far the best deal in the Twin Cities area to get some slalom training in. So the Copper Camp, we're anticipating that'll be $85 per day. We'll see how that changes. We never know how insurance costs will be for us. That's one of our biggest expenses every year. It changes every year, and we're not sure how Copper is going to be pricing their lanes. So we're going to say $85 per day. Very economical. Last year, the lift tickets per day, if you didn't have a pass there, I think were $42. So they're cheap lift tickets too. So banquets will be $15. And then we're going to have packages again. So we're going to do a full season package, which basically covers all 46 race and training events, plus banquets, plus your master's license. Now, if you buy your master's license on your own, we'll just refund that back to you. The only exceptions will be the Fall Copper Camp and the Shintuck Showdown, because that's run by Rocky Mountain. So it'll cover everything other than that. So this will be a great way to go if you just want to simplify things for yourself. The other great thing I'll say about these packages is it simplifies things for us who run the program too. Because if you sign up beforehand in the fall, we can get everything done, get you registered for everything, get all the paperwork out of the way, and it makes the races run a lot more smoothly. So it's a help to us too. And it's a great deal for you because it's way discounted. We discount these things heavily. It also helps us because it's good for us to get funds in the bank early in the season, because that's when we incur the majority of our expenses, like equipment costs and insurance, like I was saying. So we'll also have weekend packages again for Afton, the Region 2 and Region 1 championships. They'll exclude Friday training at Afton, and then they'll exclude the Friday Super Gs at the Region 2 race. That's because of the feedback we've gotten is that for people who are traveling to those events, most of them don't actually go to the Friday stuff, so keep them separate. So we'll just keep them separate. That's the feedback we've gotten. And then we're going to do a Sear Cup package, which would include everything we talked about, basically everything at Buck Hill, inclusive of the slalom training too, maybe. We'll see. So it'll depend, of course, on the proposal. Exact pricing will be announced later this spring once things are a little more finalized. We were hoping to have that for you now, but we don't have it yet. So, but keep your eyes peeled. Okay, season awards. Got a lot of those. Got the Border Battle Trophy, our H-Class Pilsner glasses, which a lot of you listening to this probably have one of them laying around your house. Sear Cup Trophy, Slalom Cup Trophy, the Ironman Trophy, and then our regional championship awards. We'll quick summarize who won those so everybody knows. Border Battle. The Border Battle was won by Region 1. Here are the, it's kind of hard to read that. This is just cut and pasted from the actual result. But Pat Hiller, Yuka Mahonen, myself, Ryan Fuller, Chris Gideson, Charlie Fox, Ken McAdam, Bridget Fox, Janine Miakotna, Scott Malmston, and Terry Lutz all made up the winning team. So for those of you who don't know what this is, basically this is a competition between Region 1 and Region 2, and we take the age class place points and take the top 10 people who get the most points, age class place points for their region, and sum those top 10 up. And the sum of all of those points, Region 1 versus Region 2, the one with the most points wins. So it has nothing to do with age or gender. You can have some benefits if you're in an age class or a gender that doesn't have many racers, because you'll get more age class points. But that's basically how it works. So Region 1 won this year. Congratulations, team, for winning the trophy. Age class Pilsner glasses. Here are our age class winners, both male and female. Lee Erickson, age class 10, men. Charlie Fox, age class 9, male. Scott Malmston, 8, male. Sally Sand, I think this is her first Pilsner glass, class 7, female. Pat Hiller, dominated class 7, men. Kristen Grebe, class 6, female. Chris Gideson, class 6, men. Ryan Fuller, class 4, men. Matt Mattice, class 3, men. Janine Mia Kotna, Class 2 female. She's got a whole boatload of these things now. John McElligott, he's got a bunch too, Class 2 men. Bridget Fox, Class 1 female. And Kyle, new racer this year. Welcome, Kyle. Your first Pilsner glass, Class 1 male. So if you weren't at the awards party, we will be mailing these to you. So you should be getting them sometime this spring when we get around to shipping them. So keep a beer on ice ready. SERE Cup Trophy. Congratulations, Scott Malmston and Andrea Woyan for winning this year. You can see all the past season winners. Andrea's dominated for the last 5-6 years here. So congratulations, you guys. For those who don't know, the SERE Cup Trophy goes to all of the races that we hold at Buck Hill every season. And it's named after Gabe SERE, who's a legendary race director at Buck Hill for many years, who tragically passed away the year of our founding. So we created this trophy in her name. The Slalom Cup Trophy. This is obviously for all of the slalom races that Midwest Masters holds throughout the season. And congratulations, Pat Hiller and Kristen Gravy, for winning this year. Nice work. You guys were our slalom phenoms. The Ironman Trophy. You can see the photo there on the right. We couldn't find a photo of just the trophy. But Kyle, brand new Masters racer this year, he got his name on the Ironman. Congratulations, Kyle, and good job, Chris, for getting it 2 years in a row. Your names are on the trophy, and one of you is going to have to pick it up. It is at the Ryan Fuller home right now. Whoever is fastest to get to me and wants to put it on their mantle gets it. You guys can trade off halfway through the season if you want. So congratulations, you guys. Here are our championship winners for the regional championship races. We did not hold a Region 3 and 4 championship race this year. We've only held one. We do have the trophy. You can see it in the lower right. We ran one at Marquette, I believe it was 2013, and haven't been able to coordinate one since. But the trophy is there. It's got a lot of dust on it, but we could whip it out if we find a way to get a race that we can get people to go to. But here are your winners for Region 1 and Region 2. We've posted these before. So congratulations to everyone there. And those of you on this list here will receive a fancy custom championship award. Exactly what that award is yet to be determined. But we're working on that, and we will have those available for pickup at the fall kickoff party sometime this fall. And if you can't make it, we'll obviously mail them to you at our cost. And you can see there's a bunch of dual winners there, so nice job, you guys. That's pretty cool to see so many people win both. Some good skiing. Okay, so that's it. We'll flip over to the video where we actually raffle off this awesome U.S. Ski Team jacket from David Shadunsky, Midwest native, and also the runner-up prize, which is a pretty cool Spyder Midwest Masters Race Crew jacket. So we'll flip to that now, but thanks for listening. Any questions, feel free to email us, program.director@midwestmasters.org, or find us on Facebook. Have a great summer. We will see you all soon.